So this is episode number 1 of the Pwr Pod.
Pwr Pod.
Brought to you by Powerhouse Media.
Powerhouse
Hell yeah.
Media.
So this is your second podcast and also your second podcast.
It is, ever.
So are you in the comfort zone now?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah? You think so?
Yeah, getting used to it a little bit.
Yeah? Does it scare you?
I mean, it's something I've never done, so it's,
But you have done it already.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay, something I'm not used to. Let me backtrack. Something I'm not used to, but it's more comfortable this time,
Definitely. Same.
How do you feel? Yeah.
I definitely feel more comfortable this time.
So what were your thoughts like the next day? Like after you podcast for the first time, you've never done anything like it. It's a new feeling.
I was honestly tired. Like, we talked so much.
Yeah.
And I I mean, we normally talk on the phone for like 45 minutes to an hour, but still, like,
right.
I don't know. It was a lot of talking, which was awesome. I love to talk, but I was tired.
You were tired? What about you?
I mean, the same thing, yeah. It was a little tired because, I mean, it's such a different setting. Like we were saying, it's more like, since it's more intimate, I think we're putting out more energy, too, and trying to make it more like upbeat than it really would, so a little tiring, but cool.
Yeah. I think that's why it's a skill, in my opinion. Because imagine doing something like this, not every day, but consistently over an extended period of time. Like you're talking about every week talking this much.
Right.
And be so intentional with what you're saying. And also like you have a bajillion thoughts going on. And you have to pick one.
Right, exactly. Trying to think of what to say while you have so many things going on through your head. Mm-hmm. But no, I like it a lot. I think it's really cool.
What do you think? Like, why do you think this is important?
Podcasting?
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's another way to get your voice out there. It's like another way to, I mean, that's what I think. I think it's another way to get your voice out there. And I think that more people have been listening to podcasts over the last few years than ever. And I think that podcasting should become a really important part of marketing, a part of companies, like a part of content.
What do you think?
I think podcasting it's like a tool, it's you're talking about, it can be really anything for hours on end, and people are looking for that, like that's why audiobooks are so popular right now too. People just want to like sit down and just like listen to something.
Speaking of
audiobooks, how far did you get on that book?
I'm about like chapter 6.
Okay, same. Same.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I finished chapter 6. I'm definitely in chapter 6. Maybe between 1 and almost done with it. But I definitely got to chapter 6.
Right. So the audiobook we're listening to is Elena Cardone.
Kind of tell us how it came in your sphere and why did you encourage us to also get it?
So the last podcast that we made, we talked about making yourself the tallest person in the room. And I was looking up, trying to figure out who said it. And it was actually from a book. It wasn't Elena Cardone. But when I did look it up, a lot of her books did come up. And she actually teaches this class. You pay like $10,000. And it's like a 2-week course on how to just like build an empire, but on like another level. So then I found this book, is Build an Empire and Get Everything That You Want, basically. Mm-hmm. And I had an Audible credit and I clicked it, and so I started listening to it. And
what does that mean for you though? Get everything that you want. Like, what does that mean?
So for me, it's to get everything that I want. I really want just the freedom of building an empire. Like everybody in your circle is somebody that you trust completely and that you can rely on, and they can rely on you. And really, it's just about, for me, it's just like pure happiness. Mm-hmm. I think that's, like the ultimate happiness level. Like you just know everybody in your circle is like your circle and your empire, your court. And you get to choose all of them. And you got to pick out the bad ones and stuff like that. And she says as hard as it is to pick them out, it's worth it. Yeah. And it's worth it for your mind and your health and everything. And even just cutting out things like reality TV. I was like, I love trash TV, and I don't bring it into my relationship. But man, like when she said that her and Grant were watching The Real Housewives.
Yeah, dude.
And then they started to fight about stupid things and like realized that's where it was stemming from.
Have you watched Real Housewives?
Yes.
Have you watched?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I can see how that could
absolutely
make it correlate. Because I remember there was a time where I was watching Bad Girls Club.
Oh,
and
dude,
I feel like I was just super aggressive all the time, and it's like, yeah, I know, like what you watch definitely can transcend into like how you're living your life.
Right. No, absolutely, I get it. Definitely. I love trash TV. Oh my god,
so good.
It's so good. My favorite trash TV show is Summer House. Oh my god, it's so good. It's about all these friends, and they're like, a few of them are couples, and they all go to this $1 million mansion. Over the am I the loud one today?
No. I think I'm the quiet one. So that's why I was just making sure it was good.
Yeah, they all go to a house for the summer, and like every weekend they come back, and it's like so much drama, and it's awesome. It's just really a good show to watch. It's on Paramount Plus or Peacock. They're not sponsoring us, but if you wanted to watch it, that would be good.
That's wild.
Yeah.
TV too.
Yeah. But bringing it back to Elena Cardone, like she just, for the listeners out there, if you need a good book to listen to, it's a very easy read. It's quick or listen. And it's just very motivating, very empowering. She is such an incredible woman and like also a spouse and a mom and just as a person all around. And I think that she's a great role model in my opinion. And I will say I don't want to be as fancy, like she lives a very fancy lifestyle, but I feel like her and Grant, they built this incredible happiness in their life by both of them being on the same page and always like trusting each other and supporting one another. And it's just super important. And I just love it. I really love it. So now I'm looking at like next books of hers to read because she has a few.
Does she? Mm-hmm. I looked it up. Well, I only saw one.
I thought that there was, I'll have to look it up later, but I thought that there was another one. Might have been The Course. Maybe it's A Course.
Could be.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
We'll let you know next podcast. But yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And now I'm reading the 10X
right.
method. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again. But this time I'm actually
physical book?
Yeah, I have the physical.
Okay. I only have the audio. I want to listen to an audio. Yeah.
I believe I actually have a second copy that I got for free when I attended his seminar. So I can give it to you if you want.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. So what do you think of the book?
Sorry.
Oh no, you're good. No, I really like it. Like I like that she talks about the foundation of the empire. Just like basically that it's just like who's around you, who's like helping you build it, like who's genuinely there. Who's actually actively wanting to build it with you and who has the best intentions to build with you.
Yes.
And that's so important, and like you said, like you don't want to go as fancy, but, just the fundamentals that she's putting out and like her core belief of what the empire should be. It's really admirable. And it's something, to work towards.
It is.
It's been really nice. That's why I kind of listened to it for a while. I was like, okay, cool. Like kind of just breezing through it.
I like took a bath, laid in bed, was like going to sleep, like still listening to the whole.
She was like when I looked, I was like, I didn't realize I was been listening like this long because it kept me going.
What's
your experience with audiobooks? I guess it's important from that perspective. I guess that's your first audiobook, right?
Yeah, it's my first. Well, yeah, because this week too, I'm trying to read like a physical book too, and I'm only on chapter 2 on that one. Mm-hmm. So like, I really like the convenience of audiobooks, and it kind of gets me a little bit more engaged because it's kind of like your friends telling you a story. Like you're subconsciously listening to something while doing something else. So it's a little easier to take in that information, at least for me, because I'm doing it while I'm doing like mindless tasks. Like I was at work mopping and like filling out postcards, like stuff like that at work. So it was good to listen to that in the back and more convenient.
And we're not sponsored by Audible, but if Audible wants to sponsor us,
I have plenty of books to recommend, dude.
Say it.
Yeah.
But even so, just like one more thing about like I'm just obsessed with it. So like literally right down to from people to clothes. She's like, if there's clothes that you have in your closet that aren't like pushing you and making you feel good and like all of that.
Yeah.
She's like, get rid of them.
It's super tough to come to that conclusion. I call it auditing your environment. And by the way, I've listened to quite a few books of Grant. So it was very interesting for me to kind of hear the other side.
Yeah.
Because it kind of highlighted the level of responsibility that a partner to deserve a woman to that statue like has to be, So it gave me a little bit more insight on how to approach the content from Grant.
Okay.
you know,
I love that. Okay.
Yeah, like this is kind of why it matters, you know, because one of the things that he talks about is like, well, you have to be ethical about everything.
Right.
And we were talking about this earlier, and I was like, I don't want to support these type of conversations.
Right.
You know? I feel like because I'm engaging with X person, in a way I'm validating these types of conversations, and I can't really...
Right.
Like, I don't think shit's funny.
Right.
I'm not going to laugh at these jokes. I don't want to entertain.
Like gossip and nasty things. And
right. So it was kind of to bring it back to just the perspective of how I'm approaching the book. It's been very insightful. I'm like, okay, well, the things that I may have not understood previously because I felt like they didn't apply to me. I see why they still apply. Like they can apply to me if if you choose to or whatever. But what you're saying about auditing your environment, dude, is so tough. And it's the hardest thing because you're so accustomed to having these conversations with people about mindless shit.
Yeah.
So fucking often that you begin to alienate yourself from these environments, and a lot of times is like your quote unquote core group because you don't have anybody else. So a lot of times, especially, I call it small town mentality, but I could be wrong.
But it is.
But you don't think that there's more people, right? Like you've known somebody for 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 years, and you're like, oh, we've just known each other for so long, and that's my road dog. And I mean, sure.
Right.
But then it's like at the same time, they're not going to be able to understand why you can't let them borrow your car.
Right.
Or the fact that you feel it's offensive for them to ask you for money when you know that they haven't even tried to make it on their own.
Right.
Like that's embarrassing. But then if you come from that small town mentality, like, oh, it's expected, right? Like, oh, you're supposed to have my back through everything. And it's like, well, like I can help you build a business, you know, and that should be empowering.
Right. I can help you succeed, but I can't just hand it to you.
Exactly. And I think, well, that could be considered as you turning your back on your community or whatever. But then ultimately nobody's handing you shit, you know, and you handing things just out for no reason. You're not helping anybody.
Right.
Because you're not allowing other people to help you because the people in your environment can help you, you know, and that's something that I've encountered consistently is that I keep outgrowing these circles.
Right.
You know,
like you stop asking for advice from people who
like I can't, dude. Like I fucking can't.
People who don't believe in the same thing that you believe in.
Right.
People who don't support your growth and your success. Because there's so many haters out there.
But it's not even haters. It's like, dude, like for example, I have 2 mortgages. I can't roll like I used to.
Right. Yeah.
This is a different level.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
And yeah, it's just like things like that I'm like, it's not that I have to turn my back on X, Y, and Z. It's just that, dude, the bigger problems are coming.
Right.
I need bigger solutions.
Exactly.
It'll be fine. Like, deal with it. No, it's like, I don't need this. I'm going to fucking find something else that's bigger.
Right.
Something that's actually worth it. That's going to keep my attention. It's going to keep me engaged. Like, why am I going to?
Right. And it's important and it's very hard. And a lot of people won't ever understand. But
Yeah. But even the auditing your environment. So what I did for a while is on Instagram, because I had a media addiction for a while. Like I was always on fucking social media. So what I started doing is like, instead of just like not using social media, because apparently like I couldn't do it. So I believed. If I disagreed with just a tiny bit on anything that they posted, or I thought it was annoying, I would just immediately unfollow them. And I was fucking ruthless.
Dang.
And somebody called me out on it, and I was like, and I didn't know how to respond, but I was like, I did. I just kind of said like, I did. Like, fuck it.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie to you about it.
I can't hold on to this and say like that. I'm sorry, because I'm
right.
not like you. I don't need to be seen. Like I'm limiting the opportunity for bullshit to enter my environment.
Yes.
You know, so I did that for a while and it worked.
Got to keep your energy.
Yeah.
Keep good energy surrounding yourself.
And even the music.
Yes.
Music is so fucking wild.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. When I listen to, like, I'm a big country fan, right? Okay. So, but man, when I listened to Jason Aldean's breakup album from like 2008, I'm like, just nuts.
You're still flow.
Yeah, it was still flow. Oh man.
Damn.
But now I don't. Now I don't do that. Now I still listen to it, but it's like it doesn't affect me like it used to. But I used to like feel it different level. Put it into my relationship and like, yeah.
You're like, that is me.
Yeah. Like, this is me. When it's not. I'm like in a super healthy relationship and it's like, oh. Anyway. But yeah, music. Music is huge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good book. Well, so far it's been really good. It's been very insightful.
Right.
And it made me really think about the level of influence that she's putting out. It's different. Because she's coming from the perspective of I'm a wife.
Right.
And not from I build this business.
Right.
And I think that there's a lot of women that have very successful businesses. And they try to give business advice, but the advice is not necessarily new because business has been done. Like, yeah, there's new tactics you can learn. Like, you know, I read or I listened to, you know who Mel Robbins is? He has a 5-second rule. She's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And she has a lot of really cool stuff. Okay. Like, you should definitely check her out.
I will.
But she's more on the tactics side.
Okay.
You know, it's like, this is how you become a better person for business, though. You know, like it's a business thing. Which is good.
Definitely.
It's definitely good. But that I've seen, for example, you know, now in chapter 6, there's, like I said, is relatable for me, and maybe because I'm also married, that I could kind of see that perspective. Maybe it gives me a different platform to kind of mull over some of the ideas.
Right.
But it's so new. Because typically those success stories are one-dimensional.
That's so true. You never hear it from the other side. You never hear it from the spouse. I love it. That's why I think maybe, because I have seen a bunch of Grant stuff, but to see like from his wife's perspective,
right? And
as a wife who has supported her husband's career and been at home with the baby and stuff, like I feel it in like a great way. I'm like, okay, like basically she's validating.
Yeah. Well, the role, right?
Yeah, validating my role as a spouse. Like,
yeah.
I just, it hit me on another level, and now I'm like super pumped and motivated, and like, yeah.
In what way though? I'm curious because I've listened to probably, I want to say like 60 to 80% of all motivational speeches out there. Right. So I'm curious, like what's different about something like this?
It's just that I feel like it's a perspective that nobody's ever done before. And it's like, yes, she started out as a supportive wife, but now she actually does stuff on her own and also like helps Grant build up. And she even says in it, one of my favorite things she says, I am Grant's biggest asset. It says so confidently. I'm like,
she's like, I work hard to like make sure.
Exactly. She's like, I work out. Attraction is real. Like all this stuff is like being a better spouse. And I'm like, or being like a better for herself even. She talks about how when she had her second baby, kind of lost herself a little bit, was in sweatpants all the time. And Grant walks in one day and was like, so what's with those sweatpants? And she was like, what do you mean? Like, and he was like, you just look like you need to lose a little. And she's like, lose a little what? And he said, leaves. He said leaves. She's like, lose a little leaves? And she knew it. Like, she knew she had to lose weight, but like he never said anything about it again. But he was concerned for her because they always have maintained healthy lifestyles and stuff. And she had put on a few from the baby and was living in like down in herself and living in sweatpants and just not being her true self. As a mom, like I've been there. I've only have one son, but yeah, like you lose yourself sometimes in motherhood and lose yourself in, but yeah, it's just, I lost my train of thought. But moral of the story is that I love hearing it from somebody who I can relate to so much. Like a lot of motivational speakers out there have done it. They've done it and not like a lot of them are male because I mean, women are just not now getting into business, but now are being heard more in the business industry, which is really cool. And it's something that my mom has actually always said. She's like, my generation paved the way for your generation to be in business and have the freedom to be in business. And that's why she gave me my name. Actually, it was Carson, because it's a unisex name. So when you hear Carson, like, you think it's a man. So it gives you like a leg up almost, is what she felt. So yeah. So I love my name. I think it's very powerful. So, yeah.
So cool.
So my name is Carson Alita, and Alita is very feminine. And Alita was actually the woman who sponsored my mother and her family to come to America from England.
Oh.
So just
Give me 1 second.
Okay. Huh?
That's cool.
I
I like
so
that your mom did that. She was just like, hey, like, I want no limitations. Because you'd be so surprised how
a name, what's in a name? Mm-hmm. Shakespeare right there, like, what's in a name? Say you. Something like that. But yeah, so me and all my sisters, we have very unisex first names and feminine middle names.
That's so cool. My oldest brother, his name is Alex, and as a kid, I was always like, I wish that had been my name. Like, I've always been fascinated with like the unisex names, because I mean, like there shouldn't be a gender on. Exactly.
It's like so it's Taylor Michelle, Devin Catherine, Kendall Elizabeth, Carson Alita, and then my stepsister is Catherine Leah. But yeah, it's just cool. I really. Cool. So back to the thing. It's very motivating to hear somebody who is also a mom and she has it all and she works hard to have it. And it's just nice to know that somebody out there who is very similar to my situation,
building an empire.
Yeah. She did it and I'm going to do it.
That's
and
dope,
I'm doing
dude.
it.
Yeah.
And we just launched our Powerhouse Media and the Pwr Pod's coming up with it. And I'm just very excited for these next few chapters. And I feel like when you have that, I'm sorry, I'm like talking a lot. I know it's like podcast, but it's where you can cut that out. And I just feel like when you have that, you have those goals apart. Like, it's important to have a family. It's important to, like, for me, right? It's important to, I've always wanted to have a family. I always want to be a mom. I always want to be a wife. And I love that role. But also, like, I want more for my family. I want more for myself. And in amazing ways, not like a negative, hey, I'm going to do this and F you kind of thing.
Where does that come from?
What do you mean?
Well, like, you say you want more. Like,
I think now that I'm a mother, I want to be able to give my kids every experience, anything that they could ever want, and not be like, not like over spoiled. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I want to give them experiences and have them be well-rounded.
Yeah.
And like, growing up, like, I never left the United States ever. Like, I think the farthest I ever traveled to was Florida. And I lived in New Hampshire. And
it's a new country out there, though.
Dude, okay.
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Literally, Florida's a wild town. Florida's wild. But, so yeah, so it's just, I didn't leave the United States until I deployed for the first time. Like, that was my first time I left the United States. Was to Afghanistan. And it's like, okay. But I want to give my child those experiences, like, leave the country or not, like, or be able to travel anywhere and just build that well-rounded empire where it's like, we're not left behind. We're not just stuck at home. Not just like, I don't want to do the whole, like, mundane, drop you off at daycare, go work my 9 to 5, like, all that. I want to have the freedom to, like, have my husband retire from the military and build, like, we have such a strong empire and, like, we're financially stable or like more financially stable. I just want more for my family because, and like, I want more. I would be content, like, probably if it was just me, like, putting around. But I don't know. I feel like as a mother, it has motivated me to another level. And like we talked, like, I used to use Ari as a crutch, hardcore, make excuses like, oh, the baby's doing this, baby's doing that. And I came out and said that to you. I said, I'm using Ari as a crutch and I need to stop. I need to stop doing that. He needs to be my why and not my crutch. And now he is my why. Him and Brooklyn and Franz, they're all my whys. And so, yeah, I just feel like that podcast or book. She actually has a podcast as well. I didn't know that, so I'll start listening to
the G&E show, and then Women in Power.
And so it's just, that's just how I feel. It's just very cool to be able to connect with somebody who has been in my situation.
Do you ever think about that is them reaching out to us?
That is them reaching out to us?
You ever think about that?
I've never thought about it from that point.
I listened to this dude named Bob Proctor. You know who Bob Proctor is? Mm-mm. Have you heard of Bob Proctor? Have you seen the movie The Secret?
I don't know.
Well, shout out to Bob Proctor. He passed away though last year, I think. Yeah, but he founded Proctor Gallagher Institute, and they teach about paradigm shifts and all this kind of woo-woo stuff. But in one of his speeches that I heard, he goes, "You're listening to this because I put it out on the universe that I needed to reach people like yourself." And I mean, fuck, I don't know, you know,
right.
but then I ended up buying his shit.
So like, got some belief in it.
So in a way, right? I think about stuff like that, and then, you know, there's a reason why you came across some of the things that you came across, in my opinion.
Definitely.
But then, you know, for example, me, like when I put out content, because I'm trying to meet that right person.
Right.
Like I want you to.
That's true.
Because like I want to meet, or people to know about me, so I'm already closer to meeting them in a way. Like I know why I want to meet you.
Right.
Some way.
Okay. It's like you're reaching out.
Yeah. I just think about some shit like that sometimes. Like
it's not us reaching out; it's them reaching out to us, which is true.
Yeah, in a way, because it's, and when you think about it, that's the point of doing all this content, right? Because you want the right person to hear it, and you either empower them to level up to where they're your peers, or maybe it's they know someone that knows something that you need to know. So then they will connect you with that person.
Right.
Which is super dope.
It is dope. I like that a lot.
Yeah. I have a lot of deep thoughts.
Speaking of deep thoughts and this vodka that's
Golden
sitting.
Vodka. Yeah.
Gold Lock vodka from Red Eye Nation.
Red Eye Nation.
So you visited Red Eye Nation this past weekend.
Yeah. I went to the Saboba reservation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? What did you do
dude,
there?
It was crazy. So Red Eye Nation, it's a company that has a bunch of products, and it's a promotional company, but they also do esports education. So they're implementing this new program at a reservation, and as a proof of concept to see if they could empower communities to be self-sustaining, essentially. And by bringing this up-and-coming technology, such as the gaming industry is so huge. So being able to teach, how do you build a game? How do you scale it? Like, how do you put it into manufacture? Like, what is, and then everything that comes with that, which is like the engineering side of things, the different types of engineering. So they're implemented this at one of the schools.
Very cool.
So it was kind of an introduction it was more of like a parent open house to see like this is what your kids are going to be learning about.
Okay.
In this upcoming year.
Right.
So it was pretty dope.
Wow, that is super cool.
And it was good to see just like the initiative from outside organizations such as Red Eye Nation.
Right.
To put together resources to make this happen. And it's in a way with the intentions are like so pure,
right,
to just make a difference and not, I guess in a way get some immediate compensation for that. And someone like the Native American community, that's been something that probably experienced, and I can only speak from the little that I know, but it's almost like it was. I could just see it was like a new thing, because it's a new thing just for America. Fuck, like I didn't have computer or anything when I went to high school, and I went to high school in San Diego, so I didn't learn shit. But to see at an elementary school these things being implemented and empowering the kids, like, hey, just because you want a game on, it doesn't mean that you're dumb.
Right.
It doesn't mean that you're wasting your time. It doesn't mean that you're not learning anything. Like, they're trying to change that because, in a way, you learn so many things from, like, Gabby was telling me there's a study that make, like, decision-making process, like your ability to make decisions, which is a super hard skill to do, like, especially in business. And you have to think, like, 9 steps ahead, of course, a lot of times to make a decision. And gaming facilitates that consistently.
Okay, I could see
However, you have to, there's a way in which you could translate into real life, but it takes support. And you have to develop it because it's new. Well, the traditional education system hasn't been doing that. It's been villainized. And now we're trying to change it, which is so dope. And it also made me feel cool because I saw just a bunch of kids that if it wasn't for a program like this, they wouldn't make it very far. Just because the opportunities are so limited.
Right.
And there is no abundance of education where, for example, because I know how to buy and sell, I will always know how to make money.
Right.
And I know how to negotiate, I will always be good. There's no doubt in my mind of that.
So how do we support them?
But doing stuff like this, just talking about it.
I mean, like, how does our audience support them? Like, what do they do? Is there a way? Do we know?
Not yet. Okay. I mean, it's...
Buy Gold Lock vodka.
Yeah, buy Gold Lock vodka, I guess, would be like the best way. Or
how did you get introduced to Red Eye Nation?
A really, 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 really good friend of mine that grew up in the same city as me, National City. His name is Chris Davis. Okay. He's a professional drone raiser. He engineered for Newbie Drone.
Wow.
Just really smart guy. He was also in the military.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it's in the Navy. And then he like pretended to corporate America for a little bit. And was like, fuck this. So he taught himself how to drone. I don't know how else to call it, but he like built his own 3D printer.
Oh my gosh.
Just super, super smart. And we've been just sharing ideas back and forth. You know, I mean, he has his passions and I always had mine. But we get along like we knew we were going to be working together at some point. And he partnered up with Red Eye Nation. Because of the drone racing stuff, he was with this company called Newbie Drone. And that company and Red Eye Nation started working together. And that's when he was like, okay, like I could get behind Red Eye Nation a little bit deeper. So, and he's been telling me about it for fucking years. Yeah. Like, he's like, hey man, like you got to come and get involved, and you got to come and get involved. And like, I don't know. What would I do? You know, I think maybe I just didn't see like the value that I brought for a while. Right. Until I went there. And then I saw, like, I didn't realize. And remember at the engineering event when I met Ashley from Black's Friday. Yeah. Shout out to Black's Friday. She was telling me how the conversations that she was having were very different from when she worked her regular 9 to 5, because she went from being an employee to being a Black business owner, and that is a different conversation. And I never fucking thought about that. I never thought about it at all. Like, oh, I'm an immigrant. Like, I was like, oh shit. Oh shit. Like, yeah. I've made a few things happen, and
definitely
like I'm not supposed to be here. Like it kind of resonated a little bit more going down there and just seeing all this shit. Cause I was like, well, like the kids and these generations have been in this system that's supposed to be helping them, but they're not helping them because they end up, a lot of them end up in the casinos. And what do you do? Like, you're in this cycle where, yeah, you get a little bit of money, but then you go and sedate yourself. Right. With alcohol, cigarettes, and gambling. Yeah. And like, that's not empowering at all. No. But then I look at like, well, the alternative for me when I came to America was just to go pursue this bullshit like corporate life. Mm-hmm.
That's what they ingrained in your mind.
Yeah, that was kind of the whole purpose. And well, I felt like, well, if I would have followed it, I would have been fucking miserable. So that's me like taking the help, and like if I would have taken the money and taken the fucking scholarships or whatever, you know, like if I would have applied myself and been a good student and and got these grants and go into this big school, so it would have been like I would have been essentially handcuffed to the system. So I would have owed so much money because it's not like my parents were going to fund it.
Right.
But then because of title and all this statue that it means nothing, I would have just been conditioned to continue to stay in that cycle, and I would have never freed myself, and the freedom would have never came.
Right. Your hair would never have been green.
Fuck no. It would have been short, dude, and like I would have been sober, you know. So it really, in a way, like it made me just see like, fuck, that's a huge bullet, you know, because alternatively I felt like, well, you know, when we have kids, like what are they gonna, like who are they gonna look up to? You know,
yes.
the motherfucker that just goes to work and like hates it and sedates himself. Like, fuck no, you know. So but I was like, if I wouldn't have been mad and ran away, you know, and like try to run away from the community that I was growing up in and the system that I was a part of, like if I didn't do something drastic to change it, I would have been stuck, dude. And I don't even know if I would have been able to get out. Like it would have been the responsibility of my kids, and then that's a lot of fucking pressure.
It is. Like,
oh, you're first generation American. Like you have all these things to fucking do. Like, dude, like fuck, I should have done better. You know, like And so, just seeing fucking all that just made me like really reprioritize a lot of my time, but also like think like, oh shit, like I actually got the good side. Like I ended up, because I've audited my environment, it cost me like, it cost me everything, right? Like my community and my old friends and all that. Like I was willing to give all that shit up because I wanted a new life. It would have never happened if I just, like, it wouldn't have happened if I would have embraced in a way like both sides.
Okay.
You know, like the good and the bad. Like I really, because I only took the good, which is, for example, like I think about the work ethic that I learned from, you know, my Hispanic background. Like it would have been like, that's good. But then there's a lot of people that have that, but also have the negative stereotypes that some of them are true that set us up to fail.
Right.
Like, for example, just the alcohol use.
Yeah.
You know, like the heavy, specifically beer.
Right.
Super unhealthy. But if I would have embraced that shit, then that would have been my life.
Right.
You know, and then I would have had this community that supported it. So, but because I gave it up, I didn't have that.
Right.
I didn't have that community.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't welcome in a way because I didn't fit in. And like, I was like, oh, you guys drink? Like, let's get fucked up then. Like, I want to drink, you know, vodka messes you up more. But that's not part of the culture though.
Right.
You know, the culture is you drink this one thing and you drink this way. And like, I just didn't want anything to do with it. But now it just put me outside of the circle where, and I mentioned it last time, like, oh, I was in the middle, you know, of all these things. And going there, kind of saw like, oh, it was for a reason. Because now I hold because I held myself to a different standard. Now that standard, it's empowering and it's something that it's attainable. Because if I did it with no support, then in a way it's possible if your community supports you, you know, but also that made me feel like, oh shit, like I'm not alone in this.
Right.
You know, like I know that the system is wrong, and I knew that me not conforming to it and not participating, I knew it was for a fucking reason, and this is why.
Right.
You know, and like it was very validating in a way, like empowering.
Yep.
To like I just got tired of just feeling like I was wrong, and I was like, dude, like me wanting more shit and me wanting better for myself, me having a higher standard, like why is this looked down upon?
Right.
Like,
why is wanting more for yourself looked down upon?
Yeah.
Why?
And then, you know, something like the materialism gets very negative. But when I say shit like, well, I want to buy a plane, right?
Right.
It's very, so far away. And I'm like, well, like, I don't know why it's far away for you, but like for me, it's not. Like, cause it's just a sale, and like I could justify, like, you like going to the airport? Like, I don't. It fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I have TSA pre-check. I have like whatever the fuck. The only thing that I need is just private plane. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like my next step up. Like, because you know,
the Pwr Pod. Pwr
dude.
Pod plane. The Pwr plane.
Fuck yeah, dude. The Pwr plane, bro. Power props, power everything.
Oh my god.
But
power everything.
But I don't know. I just think it's more convenient. Like I could justify it in my mind why I want it, but then it's kind of unrealistic. But it's only unrealistic if you think it's unrealistic.
Right.
And that's something that
you manifest it.
Well, but that's something that it's so far away from my community to accept. And the only way that it's been understood to achieve that level of success is by being in drugs.
Yep.
And like fucking doing illegal shit. I'm like, well, I want to do ethical stuff. And then like,
yeah.
Like how ethical can you get? I'm like, dude, why the fuck is that even an opportunity to be questioned? Like, why are you even joking about this? Like, because it can't be real. Like, you don't think it could be possible? Like, probably not. And that's why we can't be in the same circle. You know, because in your mind, like a dude that didn't have much of support before, like was able to achieve something, and now I'm not something that is unattainable, right, to your generation. Well, now I'm bigger, and that's too much. Like, all right, like why was it supposed to be done now? Like, I'm fucking 30 years old.
Yeah, right. Like, a lot of more years to live.
Dude, like, what am I supposed to do?
A lot of more things to do.
Like, what am I supposed to do? Yeah, like, just chill.
No.
You know? So then it's like, well,
you can't chill.
Fuck no. I can't even, like, have a hard time sitting down, you know? Like, it's just.
But no, that's really cool that they're empowering kids in school, like, at a very young age.
Yeah.
It's different. It's very different than.
Dude, it's super different. And then, because we have different problems. Yeah. Right? Like, we're not. Dude, it's not just. Like, people say all the time, it's not like it used to be. Like, it's not. Things are very fucking different. Like, you have to be able how to use a website appropriately.
Right.
You need to be able how to allocate resources in terms of time from like a more complex way than you fucking think.
Right.
So.
No, I love that. In Brooklyn's school, she's just went to middle school. She's in 6th grade.
You were telling me.
Yeah. And she is taking, it's like a financial wellness class at 11 years old. I'm like, oh my God. We also, there's an app, it's called Greenlight, and it's a debit card that's hooked up to chores. So you assign the chores and you put like $20 in there in your account. And as she does the chores, she gets like a couple cents, $1, like whatever. And then and at the end of the week, she gets paid the money, and she has a little debit card with her own little pin. And she has like an investment section where she has like $20 in investments that she built up from $10, and it's like, it's just cool. It's just
so good to have, though.
It
like,
is.
I mean, to have like a physical, like, hey, this is like how money is like actual working. Like, this is
like, I didn't even know the difference between credit and debit until I was like applying for like I didn't learn that in school ever.
Yeah, no, I didn't either.
Like writing a check, I'm like, God forbid.
Dude, I had to use. There was one time that I had USAA, but then I had opened up my first credit card, and then I didn't know how to pay, like
pay for it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like
how much?
Well, they were like, you're supposed to put like transfer money. So then I just remember like writing a check and like taking a picture of it and uploading it. But then we'll kind of find out that you could just like link the accounts, and
there's just so much now. Like, there's so much.
What the fuck am I supposed to know?
Right?
Like, who's going? Like, this is one thing that I have. This conversation I was having the other day. Like, well, like, who's gonna tell me?
Right.
Like, who?
Who? They didn't even have cell phones with cameras on them.
Right. But then even like my mom.
2007.
So my mom was like, she was like, "Oh, do you have a job, bro? Like, you fucking made it." Because you know what I mean? Like, the standard is so low because, like, well, dude, we're surviving. You just need to go over there and get a good job.
Yeah.
Like, that's all that's level up. Like, level the fuck up, you know? Well, like, I had it, so she was like, "You good?"
She's like, "Good job.
Like,
you've done it. You've succeeded." You've reached your winner. You've reached the top level. Now. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was a lot of learning curves in the financial section. So this is so dope that she has a class super in dope. 6th grade.
So she's in like these she's in these like elite classes. They're like advanced classes for them. She's so smart. It's outrageous. She's gonna rule the world one day. I'm convinced. I want her to rule the empire that I build.
Hell yeah.
Goals. I want her to take it over.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you don't want to be running that shit. It's too big.
Yeah, exactly. 10 years from now, I'll be like, it's yours.
Take it off my hand.
Just give me $100,000 a month. It's fine. I'll be fine. No. But no, it's like goals, like something like that. But I think it's just it's so cool. And she was telling me about how she needs to buy a house in Tennessee because it has the best return on investment right now. I'm like,
wow.
Oh my god.
I'm like, oh my god, yeah, totally.
You should be like, I know, dude. I was looking at that too.
Yeah, like, oh my god, we must have read the same article. I'm looking like a loser over here, like, okay. No, but like
trying to catch up, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, but she's like watching YouTube videos about that kind of stuff and like wanting to learn. And I'm like, man, that is so cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. So they're just changing a lot of things in school, but she's in a charter school, so it's like a little. Like she has to wear a uniform and stuff. It's like a little bit different than public school. Public school, we never learned that. Never learned anything like that.
No. But do you have to wear a uniform?
In public school? No.
No? You didn't have to? I had to wear a uniform in middle school.
Yeah, that's what I say. Yeah, in middle school.
So elementary school in Florida. I went to elementary school in Florida. And I had to wear a uniform there. And then I moved to Massachusetts when my mom got remarried. And they didn't have uniforms. But I didn't have like any clothes, like cool clothes. I wore my uniform first day of school.
Okay.
And they're like, what are you wearing?
The super sweet polo.
Yeah.
The crisp polo, the crisp khaki.
Yeah. Literally, I'm like still friends with a few of the girls I went.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah. So, and they have the kids that are about the same age as Ari. I saw one of them when I went up to New Hampshire for Thanksgiving last year. Like our boys were like the same age. I'm like, this is so crazy.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so anyway, yeah. That's it. No, I never wore a uniform after that.
So you wore uniform in middle school too?
Yeah, middle school. And then my elementary did too, though, my public.
Mine did too.
I think it's important though.
No, I wore uniform when I was in Mexico at the elementary school over there.
It's important, I feel like, to I don't know what it like to not individualize what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, I feel like because I feel like when you can wear your own clothes, right? Then it becomes about brands and it becomes about all this fancy stuff. But when you can wear uniforms, everybody's the same. Like you don't have to worry about your clothes. You could just worry about learning. And you're not worried about like, oh, she's wearing like the newest Jordans or whatever. And yeah,
I see what you mean.
They're just not as focused on clothes as you are on the actual education.
But then you can focus on other stuff, like what type of pen do you have?
Right. That's true.
What type of paper are you using?
Kind of backpack.
What does your dad do?
Yeah. That's true.
Focus on worse stuff than the things.
Yeah, my mom got Brooklyn a pair of Jordans for first day of school.
Ooh.
They're pretty dope.
Are they?
Yeah. They're like checkered.
Okay.
Like one side's white with black and the other side's black with white. And it's like there's
How many pairs of Jordans have you had?
I've never had a pair.
What about you?
Not Jordans. I was like the Nike kid, like the Air Max.
Air Max?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
nice.
more just like.
I didn't have Jordans either.
I didn't have, yeah.
And now I refuse, dude. Like, I feel like out of principle, I just...
But I feel like it's like a cult. Well, not a cult, but it's like it's whole like community.
Yeah.
Like there's like etiquette if you're like wearing a
Right.
certain.
You have to wear, like, you have to lace them a certain way. Mm-hmm. You have to keep them clean.
You have to stand a certain way. If you crease them, someone might like harass you about it, like creasing your Jordan.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Brooklyn has like 4 pairs of Jordans.
Okay.
Ari has 1 pair he got for his first birthday. They still fit him though. They're pretty cute. They're pretty cute.
Jordan.
Yeah. Baby
Yeah.
Jordans are like super, super cute.
Yeah, no, they're... I've never had a pair. I was never... Well, we couldn't afford them. But then when I have money, like, it was too late, dude.
Yeah, for like $200 shoes.
It was too late. Mm-hmm. I just couldn't get into it, and I don't watch basketball
either. But it's like what the kids are bringing back all the old stuff.
Did I tell you about that conspiracy theory about fashion?
No.
Did I tell you about it?
Let's hear it.
Okay. So the idea is
conspiracy theories.
Well, the idea is that new fashion trends are unable to come to life anymore because fashion used to be a product of music.
Oh, and music nowadays
it's not a product of shit. Mm-mm. Like so many people could make music and become famous, but the art of making music is not what it used to be before, right? Because if you think of it, even like the country, right? Country and punk or rock, sorry. But they had to be really good guitar players.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were able to connect with that skill, or like drummers, right? Really good drummers.
Right.
A lot of people were able to connect with that, with that skill. And it just the whole creativity that came behind creating the music and not just making music. That's kind of has gone down. And that happened in like the 2000s because of the internet.
Right.
And once the internet came into play, then new music trends didn't last as long. And fashion wasn't no longer based on music because it couldn't, like it really couldn't anymore. So now that's why to say the 90s fashion was the last decade in which fashion was a product of music. So you're starting to see.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Because if you think about like the fashion trends, they're awful.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Like people are wearing
fucking trash bags. Like what?
The things that people wear on fashion show runways,
dude.
I don't understand it. And people will be like, "Oh, it's so artistic and all stuff," and I'm like, "Okay, like
that it's couture," and it's like, well,
yeah, I mean, like this Gucci hat that makes you look like a leprechaun is $5,000. Like,
yeah, for a costume.
Yeah,
like it's just, I don't.
And then.
I just don't understand.
One thing that I've never really got, and I'm a hater for this, I know it, is I'm not a big fan of buying ripped clothes because
I am.
Well, I just feel like
yeah, right.
Near and dear to my heart. I felt that. I get why. No, I mean, why would you buy like a ripped article?
I feel also like they get damaged. Yeah, they get damaged easier.
They do.
Yep. You know, sometimes.
Yeah,
I understand, but for example, like there was, I had the last time that I bought an article clothing that had ripped, it was like a knee, like those like a light knee scrape, and I was in a rush and I put my fucking foot through it. Dude,
I can't tell you how many times that's happened.
That is, I was like, this is fucking pathetic. Like
that'll make you trip, honestly.
Yeah. I would have loved to see how angry.
Dude.
You God. So many people, right, are gonna. Dude, it's so relatable. Yeah.
It's embarrassing, dude.
Like, really humbled you. You're like, damn,
yeah, and then this is what fucking makes me mad. It's like, well, why would I spend more money? Like, why would I buy something new that looks old?
That distressed look is like it's a vibe, man.
I don't know. I guess
I literally
cool t-shirt.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah, distressed t-shirts are my jam. I like that. But pants now I just buy like the tiniest little like on like the upper thigh.
Like the pocket. Yeah, like by the pocket.
Like a unique one because the pants that I have, there's like too deep on the knees, but then like right underneath like one of my thighs there's like a rip, and like that's kind of like cool. Like,
yeah.
So like I like unique stuff like that too, but I get what you mean. Like if it's just like a giant,
gotta go slow.
Also like I used to skate, right? Like I used to skateboard, so I made like my pants look like that for like because I would fall.
Right.
I wasn't a very good skater, so
you get
like
pissed when your pants would actually like.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. So I just I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe that's where the ripped jeans came from skaters.
Probably. Well, but that's another thing. Avril Lavigne made Skater Boys like a fucking thing.
Yeah.
And the style of skating, dude, between Avril Lavigne and then came Lil Wayne, they completely brought the style of fashion into skating, or like skating and fashion started to mix. But then the whole influence of that was music and poverty, because you know, like you're
like, what else is there to do?
Well, yeah, but it's like you're, you know, typically a lot of skaters are breaking the law because you're breaking into shit that you're not supposed to.
Oh, that's not what I would imagine a skater. Okay.
Yeah, like you skate under, like you skate under a no skating sign. Yeah.
Like empty.
Yeah, because a lot of times, for example, like a marble ledge, really expensive, great for skating.
Oh.
You don't want like, imagine this is your building and you have marble fucking ledges and shit. Like you feel like a badass, but then there's some fucking
just like rails that are scraped up because people are just
some idiots just grinding like they're with their metal.
Oh my god.
Metal trucks just cleaning it all up, leaving. Talk about rappers everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was the last, like, kind of one of the last fashion trends, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you can't even like pinpoint like a really like big superstar who has like an or just like a genre of music right now that's like super influential.
Yeah. Really? No, not right now at all. Maybe like.
So you could do Kanye West, but then his fashion sense, I don't believe is there.
That's not translating to like.
Right.
No.
Like I wouldn't.
Like,
yeah.
You remember when Lady Gaga first came on the scene in like her fashion?
Yeah.
She wore like a meat suit
but,
to the
that's what I think of the first thing.
And those shoes were like armadillo meat bacon shoes. So tall. Yeah. She's like a meat hat. But people, I'm sorry.
I heard that was a ritual.
That's interesting. But I mean, okay.
Yeah, because it's like an embarrassment ritual to sell her. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, to sell her, because that's what people knew her for. Was her crazy? I'm like, man, I can't wait to see what Lady Gaga's going to wear.
But then do you think, okay, so.
But she's also a really great singer, which you discovered later.
Yeah, but then is that really fashion though, or is that just an outfit? Because nobody will ever wear like on a daily a fucking meat jacket, like, you know, even
I would say fashion, because like fashion could be a statement. Like people make statements through fashion. Like it could be like fashion could be political if you'd want it. Like it could tell like it could be a platform if you'd want it to be. You know,
I would agree with that, because I mean I feel like she never would have became who Lady Gaga.
Yeah, like the next day that was everywhere. Like you couldn't go anywhere without being like, did you see what she wore last night?
And that's what she wanted. She wanted to be talked about. And then she made these like crazy songs that were awesome. And then eventually found out she's a great singer. Like, and not just a rah.
That meat lady really knows how to sing.
Yeah,
like,
right.
She can hold a tune. Like it's cool.
Like she made a statement in being somebody who you would remember.
And it made you want to go look or find out who she is.
I wanted to find out who this and all our fans are called the monsters.
But do you think that that's a marketing play and that's not fashion?
I mean, you can market yourself with fashion.
No, I know you could, but I think more from the perspective, for example, like if you remember like when the jerseys were a thing.
Okay.
Like that is kind of, in my opinion, and maybe I'm just using the words wrong and call me out, please, but the jersey style, I guess.
Okay.
Like that lasted for a while, and it was a lot of people were able to use it, right? And maybe it came from one performance, or maybe it came from a music video, right? However, something like a meat suit, I just like, how is that influential? Like, is it because it's not really being something that's replicated consistently.
Right. I do understand what you mean, but I will say, I mean, her crazy outfits led up to that. And I feel like she just kept getting crazier and crazier and crazier because that's what people knew her as.
Right.
But as far as like making...
Like, does she influence fashion?
I think it set a standard, like for pop stars at least.
Okay. But what about like culturally? Because I'll tell you one thing. The moment where I like specifically remember, it was like a VMAs performance when Lil Wayne wore a tight shirt and some tall Supras, it's the moment that Zumiez fucking took off because he made it cool to dress like a skater, and like skaters been dressing like that for fucking ever. And for example, skinny jeans for dudes didn't come until he made that performance.
Okay. So I do see what you mean, but I think there's also different ways to make.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I
just like
I'm sure she's fashionable. I'm not saying that she's not fashionable.
She's fashionable.
Lady Gaga's not fashionable.
But no, I understand what you mean. No, I don't think people went out wearing meat suits, maybe for Halloween. But
yeah, because you could be Lady Gaga for Halloween.
Yeah, totally.
But you can't really be like a country singer, right?
I mean, no, you'd wear a plaid shirt and a cowboy hat, and they'd be like, "Who are you?"
I had a white trash party, never was dressed like that.
Yeah. Dude, white trash party was so fun. Like, are you Kenny Chesney? Jason Aldean? Just go down with Brad Paisley? It's just like, man, one of them. I love them all, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Man. That was a good conversation.
It was a good conversation.
It's a good podcast.
It is a good podcast. You know, one time I described something because we talked about white trash. Mm-hmm. And I was like, the white trash or the white tea pit stain white.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
I used that to describe something, and apparently it was like really relatable because everybody knew what that was.
Like, yeah.
Okay, yes.
Speaking of white trash, I don't know.
Right.
It just popped in my mind.
That's so true. That's so funny.
Yeah.
It's impossible to get out, too.
It is impossible to get out.
Clothes for like 3 days.
Well, so I was going to tell you that. What I
don't
saw.
have things being bleached, right?
I do have a couple pots in the back.
Right, I do have a laundry sink, and I do have a shirt that I bleached the other day. It's fine. And the pit stains, actually, when you bleach them, they turn blue first.
Oh, what?
It turns blue, and then it goes
to counteract the yellow.
Yeah, and then it goes back to the normal color. But it literally has to be bleached for like 3 days.
What?
Yeah.
Not from experience.
Not from experience. I don't know.
Something she's picked up.
Yeah. Heard it from a friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I think it's one thing that I was going to tell you about Lady Gaga's marketing strategies. Mm-hmm. I think is that how uncomfortable do you think someone has to be able to take that on?
How comfortable or uncomfortable?
Well, uncomfortable willing to get and comfortable with that level of discomfort because, well, you know that she was making a statement. What happens when you make a statement? Well, typically, whoever looks at it, they're going to love it or hate it.
Right.
And it's a 50-50 chance.
But either way, she's being talked about.
I understand that.
So I feel like she had to be very comfortable with herself to be able to. I feel like if you're uncomfortable with that thing, you're going to be like, no, I'm not going to do that. But if you're that secure and comfortable with yourself to make a statement and wear a meat suit, I'd say that, I'd say it's pretty damn comfortable in herself.
It's boss, dude.
She's a boss.
It's interesting.
And now I don't even know her real name. Anybody?
It's like Stephanie.
Is it?
Stephanie
Stop.
something. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Stephanie.
Really?
An Italian girl named Stephanie. I'm pretty sure.
Oh. How do you know?
Stefani.
I think she's cool.
Stefani.
You listen to Lady Gaga?
Yeah, I mean, I think she's a really cool artist just in general. I mean, I think after that whole dress, like, she does, like, yeah, it's of course a part of marketing and like selling herself, but it's also she has like a message too. It's just like, hey, like, you can be this outrageous and you can be like, you know, this wild and still be that person. You know, like, I'm still a great singer. Like, I still got good music and I wear mean dresses. Like, this is like coming as you are, you know, like, and that's like the community that she had built, and it's cool, you know. It is like, you know, not everyone went out the next day and wore a meat dress. But
like,
nice.
The meat dress.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
It's so crazy.
Like, yeah, not everyone went out the next day and wore it, but they were just like, hey, if Lady Gaga can go out and wear a meat dress, let me, you know, do
it's
something
like,
crazy
what?
with my hair.
What is?
That's so, yeah, like, that's gonna, oh my God. How could you walk in that? You
I know,
like,
right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, she's influential in that way, that she's so like comfortable with herself and pushing her own limits to, you know, for her art. So that's
the one thing that I always find a hard time believing is how fucking uncomfortable like does that have to be? Like, you know, because we wear these to like a fucking show. Like,
I'm sure she stunk and she like could not. I would not have. Yeah.
Actually, Lady Gaga was presented with the Fashion Icon trophy at this year's Council of Fashion Designers of America award ceremony.
That's cool.
Yep. The singer, well known for her outrageous outfits, was given the prize for being a fashion revolutionary.
Yeah, okay.
Mic
I could see that.
Drop.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just for the record, I'm pro Lady Gaga.
They're like jamming her down her throat. It's like, so what'd you say about her fashion?
What did you say? That she's not a fashion?
She's not a fashion icon? Not in this house. Come on. Keep up.
Keep up.
Well, what I was saying is I'm seeing people that wear, for example, Metallica t-shirts.
Oh my God.
Never fucking heard Metallica or the Misfits.
Brooklyn asked for a Metallica shirt. I'm like, I will buy you a Metallica shirt if you could tell me at least 3 songs.
Jeez.
Without looking it up. She's like, I don't know. I'm
Master
like,
Puppets, Saying Anger, 1.
Yep. I'm like, she's like, well, and then the other one was like Aerosmith, and she wants like all these cool shirts. I'm like, she was wearing a shirt that Danielle got her from Five Below. It was an MTV shirt.
Okay.
Like an old school, old like
retro
MTV shirt. And I was like, do you know what MTV is? And she's like, yeah, mommy told me. I'm like, man.
I just thought about that. Like, kids these days probably think like MTV is like TRL, you know, like
TRL, exactly.
Like
that's
what
that's what the shirt was. It was TRL.
Because like TRL was like, I mean, I kind of watched because I had an older brother. My oldest brother Jerry, he's born in '92, so he'd be watching TRL. But that was like right before my generation. Like MTV, like that was a bigger thing. Like music videos all in the morning. So I feel like that's what it is now. Like they're just like, it's more of like I know about it, but they don't really have anything like that.
They
now,
don't.
I feel
well,
like.
what replaced MTV?
That's
like
what I'm
that?
saying.
What
like,
you talking about? Like what?
I'm just saying right now. Like I don't even know what the kids would have.
Was it TikTok?
No, I mean, kind of, I guess, but I mean, YouTube.
Yeah, because
really?
that's where most of the music comes out. Like that's where the music videos drop. Is like YouTube. Like,
People still watch me. Do you watch music videos?
Sometimes.
Do you watch music videos?
I haven't in a long time.
I haven't either.
Sometimes they put them on Spotify with the song.
Yeah, but
I feel like the only person's that lately is like Doja Cat's. Like that's the only person's music videos I've watched lately.
But then, do you watch the music video or do you listen to the song?
Well, I would like listen to the song first, and then if I like the song, I'm like, eh.
Sometimes I wait for a music video to drop before I listen to a song.
Really?
It's like the whole experience, you know.
What's the last song that you did that with?
It was actually Doja Cat with Post Malone. They just came out with a song together like that. I mean, it looked really pretty, so I'm like, okay, like the sound, like the song sounded a lot different than how the music video looks. So I was like, kind of want to see what that was.
It's very interesting.
That is interesting.
Because it means that there is still an interest for the visual, like the, I don't know, fucking media.
Yeah.
Like the media art, I guess.
I think if there was more effort put into music videos, people would be more into it. Because I mean, like 90s videos were crazy. Like those were production.
But like the videos that people make nowadays don't make sense with their song. I'm like,
yeah, well, it's because you have to think about like, do you like Blink-182? So.
Oh my God.
What is it?
Have you watched the Woodstock '99 on Netflix? It's so good. Oh man, Blink-182 made me think of that because they were one of the people.
Oh really? Okay, so if you think about, I think the rock show, the music video, the rock show, they took like the 250,000 or some shit, or like they took the check that the company gave them. They're like, hey, use this for your budget, so they spent it on stupid shit, right? Well, anybody can make a fucking music video now.
Yeah.
You have a phone. You can now like play your music and then record at the same time. So there's your like the barrier to entry to becoming a music artist is so low.
Yeah, like now TikTok. Like I followed a few of these artists on TikTok from like when they posted a joke song, and what was that song? It's like the A B C D. Somebody wrote in the comments like, "Oh, make a hate song but doing the alphabet." Like in a comment. And then she like reposted a video to that comment singing like a joke song. But then it became so popular that she actually made it into a real song. And now it's like the #1 played song. The A, B, C, F you and your mom, you know.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And your sister and your job. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So like literally like, so from that, probably like 6 months from her posting that to becoming an actual artist being produced on Spotify and Apple Music and all stuff, and now people like nonstop listen to it.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of responsibility for an artist to hold to be able to blow the fuck up. Because, for example, if you think about someone like Beyonce, right? The fucking monuments that she puts on as for a show.
Oh my God. Her halftime. Oh my God.
Yeah. Dude, production, design, like everything. How much time do you think goes into it? Like, if you had to quantify the number of hours from everybody that's involved in that bitch, just to put it together, just to bring it to like, okay, we've finalized the plan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that is years.
I was about to say, I was like,
she's amazing.
Show, that's
right.
years.
Yeah, but now you look at an artist that blew up with because one song, and then in theory is competing with maybe one of the Beyonce songs, right? Because of hype. It doesn't mean that's sustainable.
No, absolutely. It doesn't make them like
so I think in a way,
but it's just
the barrier of entry to becoming a media artist is low, and to become a
superstar,
like a sustainable. I don't even know.
A superstar. Beyonce's totally a superstar.
Yeah, but like for example, like someone like Post Malone, he blew up pretty fast, and he's still putting out like good stuff. But,
he's very humble and like
but I think that has a lot to do with that's why he's been able to keep it.
Yeah, that's what he like hands out $5,000 like when he's walking back from stage to his car or whatever. Like, we'll hand out.
I want to do that.
I know, right? Coming out of a TED Talk, you're like, oh, there's 10 grand.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Like Grant Cardone hands out 10 grand.
Yeah, dude.
Every like hour or something like that at his seminar.
Yeah, I'll do something like that.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Can't take it with you.
Man, can you believe, like, I don't know what it made me think of, but 30 years ago was 1992. But like when I think people are like, oh, like 30 years ago, I'm like, oh, like the 70s? Like, but no.
Yeah,
it's the 90s.
Dude. 90s, bro.
Yeah.
The fucking 90s,
dude. 90s, dude. We're 30.
I know. But I think it's, what do you call like the next decade? The 2000s?
Yeah.
Is that what you call it?
Like right now? What?
No, like, so 2001, 2002.
Yeah, they're the 2000s.
But then do they go from 2000 to now? What are you going to call 2010s? Like, yeah, because you call it the 80s, the 90s, the
10s.
The 10s?
10s, the 20s.
But then is that like...
Yeah, the 10s.
But is that it's 2011? 2012? What do you going to call that?
So what did people do in like 1922? Were they like...
1922?
Yeah, what did they do back then? What did they say?
I would consider that the 20s.
Like the 20s. What did they do in 1822? Probably called it the 20s. So these are the 20s.
Okay.
So are the 20s.
We're in the 21st century. 22nd century.
22nd century?
I don't know. We're in the 20s.
Okay, we're in the 20s.
Yeah, like people can reuse fashion. We can reuse
terms.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're in the 20s, but then 10 years ago we're in the 10s.
Yeah.
And what were we before that?
In the 2000s.
Okay. That's probably more confusing than it needs to be for me.
Yeah.
No, have you ever seen that show? Like, I love the 2000s and stuff like that.
Yes.
I feel like if you were to break it
I love
up
the
like
2000s?
Yeah, like it would, you could break it up like that. That's how it was.
I think
like,
I love the 80s.
Or like,
Oh, they have like a whole like 90s,
and that's it.
2000s.
Oh.
Well, they have it. Oh, they have a 2000s and 2010s. That's why I was like, that's
Oh,
how you
really?
categorize
Oh, that's
it.
cool.
Yeah.
I don't remember what happened very well. I was very like small-minded. 2010.
We're also, I know, I graduated high school.
Fucking 18, dude. I was like, just survival. Like,
Yeah.
gotta get out of here.
I was like, go to college, fail, drink. It's all fine.
Drink, dude.
Join the military because you failed.
Nobody would know.
Nobody will know. They're going to know. Nobody's going to know.
How are they gonna know?
I'm not gonna know.
Yep. Well, on that note.
Okay. This has been the Pwr Pod.
Pwr Pod with Alan, Carson, and Celia.
Brought to you by Powerhouse Media.